So you said he raised $27 million. So how many times has that company been sold, and has he been?
Oh, no, never been sold.
Okay.
So what happened is they raised money from Jumpstart, I think $500,000 from Jumpstart, and then raised an A round of like $5 million. And I think since then he's ready to be B round of around 20.
So can you you'll describe A round and B round?
Well, what I went through in that second investor, Jane VC,
yeah,
she's a B round. So, or she could be an A round and the other one's pre-seed. So it's always one investor following the other. So in that simple example, early Invesco put in the first 500,000. The next person put in the next 2 million. Usually 2.5 million in medical devices might get you to animal trials. No, certainly not much better. People who invest in that stuff, they know it's 10 to 20 million to get a product to market. Generally the rule. So this is the more funsy parts. I know I'm over time. I apologize for that. But this is kind of nuts and bolts. Things that I've seen when and the entrepreneurs that are in the room that have worked with me know that I catch you on all these things. And then sometimes they catch me on a few. But just things that I've kind of noticed about either making the presentation or creating it. One is think about, and all of you fall into one of two categories, or you're a hybrid. You're either a reader or a listener. And it's really worth thinking about. So the reader looks at your slides, and actually the readers all got that stuff that I went through a lot better because they're just used to it. So they're watching the slides, and they're looking back at you as a sync pulse, just to make sure they're kind of on. But they're looking at your slides. That's why your slides matter. And for that kind of person, you might want to put a little more detail. But there's also the people that are listening, and it's a subtle difference. They're looking at you, and they're listening to you, but they're going back to the slides every once in a while to make sure they're kind of on and they got it figured out. And it's worth thinking about that, because the readers can process a lot faster than you can talk. They can process faster than I talk, and I talk really fast. They'll get what's on the slide, and you can maybe be very effective by skipping sections. You don't have to say everything that's on the slide. So that's what you can do with these people. But the listeners are kind of focused on you. But if you don't hit a topic that's on the slide, they won't care because they're focused on you and your words. And it's just worth thinking about because your presentation has to adapt to both. So it has to be something where if somebody's really not only sort of listening and they're just kind of processing in the background what you're saying by what they're reading the slides, it works. And if they're the exact opposite, it works as well. Second thing is to tell stories. You know, I sprinkled a couple of examples in here, and I'm kind of comfortable with that. I mean, some of these I just thought of as we were going. If you think about it, those of you who are churchgoers, think of the best pastor that you've heard. They're always storytellers. The worst, at least in my impression, are some of the ones that are trained formally, but they kind of present in a very formal and compact way, and they emphasize just like they're supposed to emphasize, but they're not really interesting to listen to. I mean, that's a bad pastor. A good pastor says, "Let me tell you a story." One of the priests at our church, I mean, he's known for all these props, and he literally is running over. "Let me show you this." Everybody is just watching this guy. He's good. It's about stories because that's really what they care about. Use a lot of graphics. I'm not sure these are the best graphics. This is a company that has a product that can make there's a lot of biocides that are used in fracking operations. And that's really one of the more nasty chemicals that the worry is that gets into the aquifer. So if you can have a non-toxic biocide, that's a good thing. And you don't have people handling this stuff that's really nasty. But he had to explain how silver ions actually can kill. Silver's been used as a biocide, since medieval times. And he had to explain it, and it was really hard. But he used some graphics that actually worked really, really well.